Siobhan, FIDIC just released the update of the 1999 Yellow Book, second edition, General Conditions of Contracts, to the audience of this conference exclusively. And I think they will find this release quite interesting. But what do you think? What they would believe very interesting or different thing for what we have seen before in these 1999 versions in this new update?
Well, what we've tried to do is to set out expressly exactly how things work very well in successful projects, because that's what FIDIC is all about. It's all about successful projects. Bearing in mind, of course, that FIDIC is the voice of consulting engineers around the world. So you'll see a lot more structure as regards the step-by-step processes of the engineer dealing with project management issues. Some new definitions to make it clearer exactly what is meant by claim, for example, and dispute. Timing is very much of the essence in any construction contract. So we've basically incorporated a lot more time provisions. And rather than there being sanctions to those time provisions, we have what we call deeming provisions. That's when if somebody doesn't comply with the time that's stated, there's a default position. So no response isn't a good idea ever in a construction project to keep things moving along, particularly as regards assertions of rights and claims and payment. And so we've been very careful not to fix things if they're not broken, but to also set out what we believe works and has been working around the world in the last 17 years that the 1999 forms of contract have been published.
Yeah, I think they will be very curious of the contents. And having been involved personally in the production of this update, have you found any part of it very challenging, or you found something that was very difficult to cope with?
Well, I wouldn't say difficult to cope with, but there have definitely been particular new provisions that we've written into the document that we've already received quite a lot of feedback at the friendly review stage. Some people like it, some people don't like it, lots of people really like it. We're all very conscious that you can't please all of the people all of the time. The most challenging, I think, provisions that we've built in involve the engineer and what he does in trying to resolve matters and resolve disagreements as they crop up during the contract, determining claims, determining amounts that are in interim payment certificates, the step-by-step procedure that is going to be followed there, the timing of the engineer's reaction to things. They took quite a lot of discussion, very thorough consideration of the ideas that different people had, considerations on what users wanted, being careful not to be too prescriptive, but to allow the engineers that know what they're doing the scope within which to deal with things on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you, Siobhan. I truly hope that this document will have an overall positive reception from the users.
We're very hopeful that it will be received positively as well.